In this episode, we're going to be talking about why you need to have good credit as a real estate investor.
As a single professional, I had debt and no savings after my divorce. I always wonder how I can start investing in real estate to secure my future. I studied programs that gave me all the benefits of investing in real estate. Some claim I could start with no money, but I could not find one that gave me the practical, actionable steps I needed. As a wealth advisor, I've met people that own real estate but weren't ahead financially. They were rich, but they weren't wealthy. Then I finally realized that there was one vital component missing that makes someone become wealthy or not. And on this show, I will reveal what I found and give you the step-by-step actions to start investing in real estate and increase your wealth. My name is ARACELI'S. Let's get started.
Hello. Today, all about credit. Give me some credit. So, what is credit? So we have two things, and some people may confuse them, which is credit score and credit report. Your credit report is basically just a piece of paper that they give you, but the credit score is what really matters. And the higher your score is, the better. But why is that important as a real estate investor? I've been told that I can buy properties with no money down or no credit. Well, while that is possible in some cases, it's not the rule. And it's best if you have good credit. So today, all about credit. So the credit score is usually issued, at least here in Canada, by Equifax or TransUnion. And it is also called FICO score in the United States. And that basically tells me how likely are you to pay your bills. And this is extremely important because if you're going to acquire a secondary property, besides, let's assume that you do have already a property, your principal residence. If you do so, you're going to need to have a good credit score to qualify for a second mortgage. The majority of us as investors, we have a mortgage in the properties that we own, but not necessarily. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you at some point are going to run out of money and you're going to need to have some good credit to be able to acquire another property. Let's talk about scores. Normally this score is measured between 300 to 900. And the higher your credit score is, the better. So what can you do with it? Why people don't pay attention too much to it? Well, because they don't really know what the impact is from the credit. And I'm not just talking about real estate investors, but anybody in general. So the first thing is at some point in time, you're going to get either a mortgage or a loan that you're going to be acquiring, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a house, or maybe a student loan. And even if you are approved when you have lower scores, it might impact you. And how is that so? Let me just give you an example. The rating, as we discussed, is between 300 and 900. And then we have two different individuals applying for a mortgage. Both of them are applying for a $400,000 mortgage. Person A has a 700 score. And person B has a 780 score. Both of them get approved. However, the person that has a better score, which is 780, is getting a 5-year mortgage with a 2.09 interest. While the person that has the score at 700 will get only a 3.24 interest. So it might not seem like a lot, but in a mortgage, every little helps. And as investors, we're always looking to get the smaller interest rate that we can pay in order to make more money. So that is one reason for you to have a good credit score. Now, what if you're not an investor? How is that credit going to affect you in life? Well, landlords actually look at your credit score, because remember, that is the ability and your history of how you're paying your bills. So if you have bad credit or no credit, those two are very similar, because if you have no credit, you have not built up any history, then there's really nothing to compare it to, and you may be good at paying your bills, but there is no record of you doing so. So the sooner you can get started in building your credit score, the better. As I said, if you are renting an apartment, landlords are looking at your credit score, and the higher it is, the easier it'll be for you to rent an apartment. Also, having a good credit score will give you the ability to get in new credit cards. And in some cases, they will give you an offer for a lower interest credit card than if you have a bad credit. So there's a few things that people really don't understand much about credit. And one of them is that if you only have one credit score. Well, yes and no. There is actually in Canada 2 different credit bureaus that will record your score. And both of them have a different kind of, process to evaluate you and give you a credit score. And another thing is, now there's a lot of apps that are coming in the market that they will check your credit score for free. However, please do not go by that. It is a very rule of thumb to look at those scores. But if you are actually applying for a mortgage, please make sure that you get it from a accredited bureau, which is Equifax or TransUnion, because those scores will vary from the free apps that are looking at your credit score. So that is one thing. So also, a lot of people think that all the credit inquiries are going to affect your credit score. And that is not really true. Some of them are called soft inquiries, and some others are hard inquiries. A hard inquiry is when you are actually applying for a loan directly at a bank or any other financial institution. That's what it's really advisable, that if you are seeking credit, especially for a mortgage, to speak to a mortgage broker. They have a lot of options, and they only need to check your credit score once while they are qualifying you from different institutions. So I think that's a better option if you are seeking to buy a property, whether it is your first property or your first real estate investment property. So what about bankruptcy or debt consolidation? That is something that you definitely want to avoid, because that will stay in your history for a long time, sometimes many, many years. And during those years, you will not be able to apply for any type of loans, and it will be very restrictive for what things that you can do. So there's also companies out there saying that they will fix your credit for a fee. Please be very careful with those, because there is a lot of the history that you have with your payments will not be just erased. There's ways to change things that are not accurate about your credit, and you should be looking at it at least once a year to make sure there is nothing there that could affect your credit. Especially if your name is common. There could be 2 different Joe Smiths out there, and in some cases it gets all mixed up. I've seen it many times that you have something in your credit that you never acquire, and that person default, and now it is in your credit. So that's why it's important to look at it at least once a year to make sure that there is nothing there that you did not do. So now that we understand what credit is and what we can use it for, so how do you get a good credit? How do you know how to improve it? First of all, you need to get your credit score to see where you're at. And we can all get our score for free, and there is not going to be any inquiries at all because you're doing it for yourself. So I really recommend that you go to Equifax or TransUnion to get your credit score. It's completely free every year. And then that is the starting point. And after that, the things that affect your credit score is basically your debt payment history will be reflected, and it basically will tell in the score if you pay your bills on time or if you have missed any payments at all. The second thing that you need to look at is the credit utilization. So if you do have a credit card for $10,000 and you're using $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, that means you're using more than 50%. So try to keep all your credit cards under 50% utilization. It's better that you have two different credit cards that are under 50% than using one that is at 80% and the other one is at 20%. Another thing that is important in your credit score is the length of your credit history. That means all of the accounts, all the credit accounts that you have opened, for how long you've had it. A lot of people, they decide to cancel the credit cards. It's better not to do that. Some people may want to cancel their accounts or the credit cards that they're not using. I advise not to do that because every time that you cancel an account, it will take some points out of your score. It's better just to keep it there, use it from time to time, and then pay it off. So you still have that credit available to you without damaging your score. What about applying for a loan with a private lender? Do I still need to have a good score? Absolutely. Credit will follow you anywhere that you want to have a loan. And especially as a real estate investor, if you have more than one mortgage, you need to have pristine scores, even for private lenders. So just remember to always guard your score as much as possible. That's a huge asset for a real estate investor. It will make your life easier when you're doing transactions. If you don't qualify with a regular institution and you need to go to a private lender, they will still look at it. Even though they have a little bit more relaxed process for you to be qualified, they will still look at your credit score, and they will give you an interest rate accordingly. So remember, know what your score is, and if it is not ideal, do all the steps that we went through to get your score higher. That will make your life a lot easier as a real estate investor. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.ARACELI'Shernandez.com. Thank you.